A player who Middlesbrough need to be doing absolutely everything to keep hold of this summer is van Berg. Now, he signed last summer. He signed as a fresh-faced teenager from the Netherlands, someone who Middlesbrough were looking as a future signing, someone who was expected to come in and probably just take a little bit of time to adapt to life at the Riverside Stadium, to the demands of the Championship, someone who might get a bit of game time here and there, but it just absolutely hasn't worked out like that for him at all because he has just absolutely ripped it up since he arrived. Speculation last summer when Middlesbrough were signing him was that AC Milan and Borussia Dortmund were among the clubs interested in signing Vandenberg. He chose to come to Middlesbrough, which was surprising given the names that were associated. You often wonder in those kind of situations whether it's a little bit of agent talk, whether it's players kind of, sorry, agents trying to build up their clients and saying, look who's interested in them. You're going to have to pay us top dollar if you want to bring them on board. With those kind of clubs involved, you would think, with all respect to Middlesbrough, that a move to AC Milan or Borussia Dortmund would have been the preferential move. But for Vandenberg, it was clear that he wanted to go to a club where he had a genuine opportunity to play regular first team football. Um, it's something that's quite memorable, really, because you got to think that if he did go to AC Milan or Dortmund, he would have been earning multiples more than what he's earning at Middlesbrough at the moment. He'd have the opportunity to play in the biggest competitions in the world, in the biggest stadiums in the world, and that would be a massive opportunity for him. But I think what you're seeing is with Vandenberg, but also with other big players at the moment, you're sort of seeing a new breed of footballer who is kind of a little bit more strategic. About their way of the way of progressing through their career and ultimately trying to rise their way through the ranks. Two of the players that do spring to mind are Jude Bellingham and Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland, obviously, he's at Man City now, arguably, well, not arguably, the greatest goal scorer on the planet at the moment. He's just been absolutely sensational. I know he's been injured and stuff more recently, but he's the quality that he's got is there for all to see. But he could have been playing for one of the world's biggest clubs 3, 4 years ago. But what you've sort of seen is that he's taken a strategic approach to the top. He's made sure that wherever he's going, he's going to be in a club, in a team, in a league. He's tailored to him, one where he's going to thrive and he's going to shine, and his stock is going to continue to rise. Obviously, when he went to Borussia Dortmund, he had the opportunity to go to a number of other clubs. There's been all sorts said. There's always stories coming out about how Manchester United had opportunities to sign him when he was in Norway or when he was in Switzerland. Um, Real Madrid have been interested as well, but he's kind of remained patient, made sure that he's kind of gone through those steps and made sure that each step he's gone to a club, met the challenge, thrived, and then moved on to the next club. Jude Bellingham, exactly the same. Obviously, came through the youth academy at Birmingham City, showed his quality there, had absolutely every club in the world knocking on the door for him. He was given the VIP treatment at Manchester United because they wanted to sign him. I think Real Madrid wanted to sign him at that point, Manchester City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and he surprised everyone by going to Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, that for him was a massive opportunity, and it was one where he didn't just want to go to a club to play for a big club. He wanted to go somewhere where he knew that he was going to be trusted, where he knew he was going to get the game time, where he knew he was going to get the minutes to kick on and progress and show what he could do and keep building towards that top level. And you sort of get the feeling with Ralph van den Berg, to bring it back to him, that it's exactly the same sort of model that they're kind of like looking to work towards. In my opinion, Ralph van den Berg is a player who has the potential to be playing for the top team. Absolute quality. The leadership that he shows, for considering he's arguably the youngest member of our regular first team squad, is absolutely outrageous. We all saw the tackle against QPR. For anyone who doesn't follow Middlesbrough regularly, that is not an abnormal thing. That's something that he's been doing every week. He's been a first team regular. He's been a rock at centre back, and for a player who wasn't really expected to play every game this season, he's become probably one of the finds of the season, and is arguably, in my opinion, the signing of last summer. Now, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with him moving forward. There's going to be a lot of interest in him. I have seen rumours. I haven't checked these out, but I did see rumours that Sheffield United were interested in him. He's not going to go to Sheffield United. He's going to be going somewhere which is a massive step up. But it's worth noting as well that he's not going to go somewhere where he's not going to play. It's not going to be a situation like Jed Spence, for example, where he goes to a Tottenham or a top four club, looks for the big payday and just hopes that he kind of makes the grade. If he's moving on to another club, he will absolutely be making sure that it's the right opportunity for him. The move where he's going to be playing regularly. It's going to be a team that suits his style, and a situation and a scenario and a setting where he's going to be set up to shine, crucially. So for Middlesbrough, I think they're really just enjoying having him at the moment. I think there's going to be a lot of interest come the summer. I really, really hope that that we don't lose him this summer. I think he's the sort of player who has been absolutely quality. We're really starting to see that quality in a Middlesbrough shirt, even though Middlesbrough's performances have been inconsistent at best. I personally would love another 12 months of Ralph van den Berg in our central defensive unit. I think it would do wonders for his development. I think it would do wonders for price tag as well. I think another season would be crucial, and particularly if he is playing in a team that hopefully will be challenging for promotion next season. But crucially, you just never really know what's going to happen. He is a player who's going to attract high level interest. That could well come this summer. It will depend on what opportunities arise for him. But like I said, I do get the impression with him that he's not going to jump for jumping's sake. He's not a player who, well, he proved it last summer with the AC Milan and Dortmund interest. He's not just going to move to a big club for the sake of it. He's going to be wanting to play regular first team football. If one of those big clubs do sort of come in for him, I not convinced that he'll be completely convinced by it, or he will need convincing to make that move because he will need assurances over the level of involvement in the first team. Because we've seen it with so many players before. They've gone to a big club, they get lost in the system where they're stockpiling young prospects, and then they end up getting loaned back to the Championship, and it just the season their career just kind of fizzles out really, and they get to 24, 25. They haven't really kicked on as expected, and they become these sort of overpaid championship level players who can't really secure a move elsewhere because they're earning too much money. I think for Vandenberg, I think it'll be very, very important to make the right step in his career. Um, Michael Carrick will be desperate to keep hold of him, but crucially, he's part of Middlesbrough's business model. Every player does have a price. The whole setup of what we're doing at the moment is based on bringing players in and then selling them on for a hefty profit. We did it with Morgan Rogers. He was only at the club for 6 months before we sold him on. So I think the fact that Vandenberg's been at the club for 12 months, I don't think you can rule out an exit based on that alone. But I think crucially for the Dutchman, I think it's going to have to be a move that suits him, one that suits him for the long term. And for Middlesbrough, they need to know that they've got a proper asset on their hands here. This isn't going to be a situation, in my opinion, where they should be holding out for 10 million, 12 million, something like that. He's a player who, for me, could be a player in the next 2 or 3. And so it's crucial that Middlesbrough value him as such. Make sure that if he does move on this summer, we are getting top dollar. For me, I'd be also be including a sell-on clause in there as well because I could see him getting a move to a top club in the years to come. And Middlesbrough don't want to be missing out on a sizable amount of money for that. We did bring him in. We have given him the opportunity to kick on and show what he's capable. So if he does move on, I think the price has just got to be absolutely right. But yeah, speaking with my heart, I would love Vandenberg to stay at the club. He's a massive player. He's one of our biggest leaders, which is I don't know impressive on one hand, also a little bit depressing that a teenager is our biggest leader because it probably shows the lack of leadership in the rest of the team. But for me, I would love to see him stay for another season, help us out, help us push towards hopefully what would be potential promotion pusher next season, and then see where we are at that point. But I think as far as the interest in him is concerned, absolutely not surprised. He's a top level operator. He's an old head on young shoulders, and he's someone who, in my opinion, is destined for the very, very top. Hopefully that would happen with Middlesbrough, but I think the gut feeling of myself and a number of other Middlesbrough fans is that probably his time at Middlesbrough is yeah, it's going to be a short term thing. I think he's going to move on to bigger and better things, and frankly, he deserves it because he's a quality operator, and it would be great to see him kick on and show exactly what he can do at the highest levels.